Hey, I just wanted to discuss why some of the abilities in Overwatch can feel very unfun or sometimes broken because the shooting mechanics are just in a place that it's not very interesting to play against. First example, we'll go with one of the most popular characters in the game, Reinhardt. He can hold up the shield and he can prevent a lot of damage to your team simply because the shield is so large that it covers everything. However, this poses a problem where it's not very fun to shoot the shield because you don't really have to aim against it. It's so large you can kind of sloppily point at it, and it's so controlling that you'd rather aim your gun and shoot people, but instead a lot of the game is trying to get this shield down. And really good Reinhardt players are going to constantly take their shield down and be able to hold it up again at the right time. So it's a lot more about timing against the enemy Reinhardt than it is about more or less having good aim. There are a lot of other games like Counter-Strike, Team Fortress 2, Quake, which require very good aim, but in general, it's in Overwatch, it's a lot more about the hero counters and the hero drafts. Like Winston is countered by some heroes and counters other heroes. This gun does not take any aim at all. Like basically zero. You just have to point it in the general direction. And it's not saying Overwatch is a skillless game, it's a hero shooter. And the devs say this too. They say Overwatch is not a DM shooter, DM shooter being Quake, Team Fortress 2, Counter-Strike. It is a hero shooter where the game is based around picking heroes, countering, constantly swapping off to other heroes for your hero draft. Like D.Va, it really doesn't matter how good you are at aiming. She can use her defense matrix and sort of eat a lot of the bullets that people send her way. That's her ability. It's like, look, I can negate damage like this. You can be a very, very good aimer. You can have some of the most precise aim in the world, but it doesn't matter because if she can hold her shield up like that or her defense matrix, it's so powerful and controlling you can't really do anything about it. But if the enemy team has a Zarya, her laser gun will go straight through the defense matrix of D.Va, and D.Va will feed ult. So I'm just trying to sort of illustrate how the game is less about having good aim and more about your hero draft. And that's another topic of why the game can be frustrating to play sometimes, because if your teammate just refuses to switch off a bad hero, then the entire team really suffers. I had a D.Va one trick in my game where all she played was D.Va. And the enemy Zarya had about a gajillion Graviton ultimates because she was constantly getting free charge off of our D.Va who wouldn't switch off. And so Overwatch can be a very frustrating game to play sometimes because you can't individually carry. You are very reliant on your team to pick the right heroes and to work together. And if they're not willing to do that, you can't sort of take the situation into your own hands, is what I'm trying to say. It's not as easy. Take Genji, for example. A lot of people like playing him because he has fun movement mechanics. His weapons take aim, right? But if you're a Genji, you can't really individually carry as much as you'd like because if they have a Mei, this is very easy to do. The gun does not take nearly as much aim, but she can shut you down because her ice beam goes through your reflect. She has 50 more health than the average class. She can heal up to full and become invincible, and she can one-hit KO you, right? Here's what she does. She freezes people, and then she headshots them. It's a one-hit KO that kills about 2/3 of the cast in the Overwatch game. So what are you really going to do against that if you're Genji? You have the hero that you liked playing, skill-based, fun, takes aim, but you're just counterpicked and you sort of have to accept that you're going to have to change heroes. And even with the heroes that do take aim, they have their own sort of very overpowered do-it-yourself abilities that don't take much mechanical skill to perform. Like McCree can just unload 6 shots into people. He can just throw stun and unload 6 shots into people. Like, yeah, he has very loud footsteps that show that he's coming, but that doesn't feel good to play against. That you just have to keep your distance and stay a mile away from him, because then he's in a range where he can do damage, right? But if you're way too close to him, he unloads on people and stuns you and one-hit KOs you. But at range, he's very powerful, and he can get headshots if he has good aim. It doesn't feel very interesting to play against. It just kind of feels way too controlling. We can talk about Junkrat as well. He has these concussive mines that push him up as, you know, no matter what direction you really throw them. I'm kind of having some lag. The roommate is watching something. But you can basically show that the mines, even if you throw them above you, will always push you up. This prevents bad players from screwing it up, but it also limits good players from using the mines in a unique or different way. The mines will always push you up, no matter what you do. That's just how the game works. A lot of the abilities in Overwatch are like that. They're very simple. They don't have much creativity in how you can use them. Again, like the Reinhardt shield. There's very little nuance of when to drop your shield, when to rocket blast, when to charge. I mean, it's there. The skill is definitely there, but it's just not as impactful. If you have a Reinhardt on your team, even if they don't have a lot of time in Reinhardt, they're still being extremely useful by holding the shield up for your team. And so if you want to know why the game can kind of have very broken shooting mechanics, unfun mechanics that just feel way too controlling, it's because, again, the game is based around having a good draft, having hero counters. They do make some good changes. Like Hanzo used to have this bullshit scatter arrow that he could just spam into a tight space and one-hit KO people. But it didn't take any skill, it didn't take any aim at all. It just was so stupid to play against, and they finally removed it. 2 years later, they got rid of it. It's like, it took you guys long enough, right? They keep adding heroes who really are kind of overpowered. I did stop playing for a while, but coming back, these heroes are especially egregious to play against. He has another one-hit KO ability. His hitboxes are very large. Doesn't take that much aim to do well with the Doomfist. And so a lot of these mechanics are actually okay, and they can be very skill-based, but they belong in a game like Dota 2. They belong in a hero shooter, which, I mean, that's what the devs call this game, right? It's a hero shooter. It's not a game based around having good shooting mechanics. It's not a game based around having really that good of an aim. It's a game more based around your draft, but that doesn't feel very good when your cast is less than 30 characters and you can constantly switch. There's no ban phase, there's no draft phase. People can, you know, change what they want on the fly, and that's how the game is supposed to be played. But when your teammates don't do that, you get really screwed over. Overall, it just feels like the game is out of your control. If they want to fix a lot of the game to make it more fun to play, then they need to change some things. They've been making good changes to like Hanzo and Symmetra. You know, we'll have to see. There's going to have to be a lot more before I really find the motivation to play this game again.